Welcome to PNW Prop Stars, the only Seahawks only gambling show in the multiverse. I'm your host, Clinton Bonner, and today I am so happy to be joined by the one, the only, the great Brandon Schultz. This is how good and great Brandon is. Brandon, by himself, taking on Wilson Kahn and Adam Emmerich, forming it into one like Voltron. We got Brandon repping two dudes at once, and we're live on a Saturday night. Brandon, how you doing? How was your happy Thanksgiving, bud?
Wait a second. I'm repping two dudes at once? I thought you were repping two dudes at once. I thought you're you and Wilson, and I am just me and Adam. So we're kind of even things out here.
Okay, you know what? The sober yin, the raging yang, like the Sith and the Jedi, there's always two. Me and Wilson, you and Adam, two twosomes, four onesomes, one foursome. It's all good. It is PNW Prop Stars. Thank you for fact checking me with the math there. And how was your Thanksgiving though, bud?
It was great. I mean, I'm not so great that I'm going to be at the game tomorrow like someone here is. And hey, what's up to Ryan 911 and Amy joining us in chat?
Yeah, gotta love that. And people are flocking in as they do. And you know, it's a special Saturday night or Saturday afternoon for those on the West Coast. And yes, I'll be at MetLife tomorrow, as I like to call. I refer to it as Lumen East Rutherford, because when the Seahawks go there, we win lots of games. And oh boy, Brandon, what do we got there from Ryan?
Oh, we've got a $9.99 executive producer super chat to help offset some of your losses this season. That's a big help, Ryan.
Yeah, well, we know we need that. Thank you very much, my man. You're amazing. And it was so cool that you got to join us when we did the what show was that? Was that 3 and 3 out? Yeah, because it was from the flock and you were able to come on live. I think we should do some more live from the flocks as we get down to the last quarter of this regular season. I'll stress it that way. So yes, Brandon, I will be there tomorrow. East Lumen. I know Gary Blum's hanging out. I know John's hanging out. I saw a couple others. Who do we meet up? Oh,
Marcus McVeigh.
Marcus is coming down. He's going to meet up as well. And Andy, who we had a good time with up in Boston, he's driving down. So
sweet.
He's going to be there. And Greg Lodice, who I know out from Twitter, he'll be there as well. I believe he's a flocker. If not, we'll convert him. And I've got my conversion, little starter pack, Brandon. So I've got our cards with the QR code. No, it's hard to see with the green screen. I've got our stickers for tomorrow. I've got my hot pack for my hands because it's going to be 37 degrees at kickoff. I just got back from Florida. I'm as blue-blooded as it gets. It's freezing. And last but not least, I have my very, very nifty tin here that you and Adam sent out to flockers a couple of years ago now. I love these things. These still come in quite handy. So I'm going to be excited to be there. And Brandon, I think we have to talk a little bit of exciting news from our partner, MyBookie, as well, since we got some Thanksgiving things cooking. And of course, this is a show where we talk about the props and parlays and best bets. What's cooking with MyBookie?
What is cooking? You got to use that promo code HAWKRA. And with it being Thanksgiving week, they're doing some bonus material for you. I might have to just add that to the comment section down below too, because that's a good place to check out things. But you know, MyBookie, they are instead of stuffing your face, they're about stuffing your wallet. I know we all stuffed our face this past week, and through the help of what we should be telling you today, don't listen to it, but be informed by it. And you can head on over to MyBookie. They've also got a nice Telegram prize contest that you need to check out too. You want to be in there and join by December 1st because the pool starts at 15,000. It grows by 5,000 for every 1,000 new subscribers. So that's going to be something to check out. MyBookie.ag, promo code HAWKRA. Check it out.
Yeah, I would also, what was kind of cool about MyBookie, just very quickly, because I went in and checked and looked at it because they are partners of ours. They have lots of different bets. It's a little bit different than the others out there that, the big ones that are on TV all the time. So there's access to lots of different, let's call them nooks and cranny type bets and micro style bets that are just different than the other sites. So at the very least, for those that sometimes want to dig deep and find some nooks and crannies, I think you can with MyBookie. So, and I think, Brandon, that is what we are going to try and do today on this episode of PNW Prop Stars. I've got it queued up, of course. And before we do that, we want to remind folks that please, if you're here live with us, easiest thing you could do is hit that like button. If you're not yet a subscriber to any of the Seahawkers podcast shows, add on YouTube, youtube.com/Seahawkers podcast. We are marching now, storming towards 5,000. We really want to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the regular season. We are not going to be able to do that without your help. So if you're liking and you're subbing, you're telling 1212s. I think we put out some of the most unique Seahawks content every single week. So Brandon, let us go into, that graphic was for that part. That's okay. That's where you sub. That's where you join. I get ahead of myself. And when I'm out on YouTube, we like to put out some, just some material, some questions and some Q&A and polls, really good platform for that as well. So we got the news, Brandon, that Satawa Lamea, not the UConn grad, not Christian Haynes, starting at right guard. What do you think of that, man?
It's interesting because, this falls into where I might guess in terms of the impact that Lamea might have on our offensive line. The disappointing thing for me is that Lamea is not starting on the left side of the offensive line, and they're continuing to fight things out over at the right guard spot. Like we watched a little bit of Tomlinson this last game, and I could easily see Lamea having an impact at the guard spot too. But hey, maybe that's what we just need. We need to see everybody compete it out at the right guard spot, and then ultimately find out who the best guard is among all the guards who have played right guard.
And it's so funny because in the very beginning of the year, you and Adam, I was like, oh, Christian Haynes, lock him in at the right guard. They wouldn't have taken him. And of course, I come from UConn, so my bias is strong. And not that I knew him all that much, because UConn football is just not that good. But whatever. I'm like, that's my team. Let's root. And you guys are like, well, I don't know. Like Lakin might not be the left guard. This might be like a musical chairs type thing where two of the top three emerge. And now we're heading into week 13. That's kind of what's happening, right? Like Lamea is going to get a shot. Haynes is looking like on the bench for now. Tomlinson is still out there, but man, he hasn't been good. So could this end up being a situation where they take Haynes, put him at left guard, Lamea plays well at right guard, and that becomes the final form of this line for 2024? Brandon, I don't know. I could see the Flockers, when they got in and voted on this, almost half are expecting some improvement. Do you think it's a little bit just simply coming from, well, it can't be worse? Do you think that's kind of where it stems from?
I think part of it too is just the trust tree that you have with the coaches, and you say, well, the coaches must know what's best, and so they wouldn't be starting Lamea with the expectation that things are going to get worse. So yeah, there should be improvement, but will there be? And I think that's probably where the next group of people is, and the won't matter. It's like, well, no, it probably won't matter.
Yeah, it's not surprising that the middle of that the range there is where most people decided, not the two left and right extreme there. And Gary Blum is commenting here, which is amazing. I'll be hanging out with Gary tomorrow in that parking lot. And if you know that name and you are a longtime Flocker, then you know that Gary is also the 2016 Pick'em League champion for the Seahawkers podcast, because he still uses that when we do the $12 donations at the end of every single month. So thank you, Gary.
Right. Yeah. And could we get a Tomlinson revenge game? Maybe we already got our Tomlinson revenge game when we beat the 49ers, but maybe we can get another one from him.
Yeah. And we did see that McDonald likes to make ex-players the captains for the next week, right? So we got Tomlinson as a captain. We got Dixon, which is just, we need a special teams guy, and he was amazing last week, and he's Australian, so he's cool. Captain, he's got cool tattoos. We got Gino as a captain, and Leo, right? Right? Coming off of what should have been the defensive player of the week, but sometimes they get things wrong. Give it to our other players who score pick sixes, so can't complain about that. All right, let us mosey on. So last week, I was the PNW Prop Star champion. This is basically how I got there. JSN got over that 70-yard marker for the plus 155. I go 2 out of 3, so I get to put the graphic up that I am the Week 12 champion, which means that I then go first. I'm on the tee box. You're going to be representing Adam with the third pick. I'm going to go through mine first. Wilson, who's traveling today. By the way, Wilson Kahn hops back to San Francisco to go be with his family for Thanksgiving, gets back on a plane today. He's training to East Rutherford tomorrow. We'll be hanging live. So, I mean, hey, he's 20 or 21 years old. So when you're young, go at it. But kudos to Wilson for pushing 10 and getting to the game tomorrow, but just not going to win this one because I'm going back to back. So Brandon, are you ready for me to tee us off? You ready to play along?
I just want to let folks know who may be watching or may be tuning in via audio that if you were wondering, well, why would they do a show if Wilson can't make it, if Adam can't make it? Why are they even doing a show? It's because our champion right here is Mr. Clinton Bonner, and he has to come on to rub it in, even without his fellow normal co-hosts.
100%. We were texting, during when I was in Florida this week. We're like, well, maybe we just won't do it. Then like yesterday, I'm like, hey, let's do it. Let's make this happen. So, and I want folks to know that you're not only representing Adam today. Adam was he told the whole flock he had to go work in the mill. He's been working late hours and doing his thing. He has handed the reins over to Brandon today. So not only is he representing Adam, but hopefully getting Adam off the schneid, because these are Brandon's picks. So as Adam watches this, all I got to say is careful. They're a little spicy. All right. So
Carly tuning in saying hello. Hope Adam's bets are as unhinged as I look forward to. Oh, Carly, you are in for a ride.
Let's go. All right. So I'll get up the tee box. Sometimes you get on that first tee and you're like, driver, maybe I could carry this, maybe a 3-wood, go with one of those little like 5 iron little wedgie type things, hit it straight.
It's a 5-wood, yes.
A 5. Well, they have the hybrid wood, right? It's like a 5-wood. It's almost looks like a putter. Either way, that's a nice club. You can get it out there, maybe poke it 200 yards and start your day the right way in the short stuff. So what I want to do here is start my day the right way in the short stuff. Look, the bet is for those that are listening, so you could hear it first instead of seeing it. K9, 25 or more yards through the air, receiving. Okay. He smashes this last week with 4 receptions. K9 he missed 2 games this year, and I think he was injured in one of the games, but let's say he played 9 games. He's got 36 receptions, which is 4 a game, doing the fast math. And if you look at a full season, 4 times 17, I think you're getting upwards of close to 70 receptions, like high 60s. He's averaging 4 receptions a game. Okay, give me K9 in space with 3 of those, 4 of those. And at minus 110, I like K9 to get at least one splashy one because he just makes dudes miss, hurdles them. He's freaking amazing. And I like this number. He has smashed it a couple of times this year. I think he does it again. And I'll just parlay that with the fact that I think Gino will be under duress, and a little bit of a scoot out by K9, a little dump off, get him in space, and Brandon, 220 yards down the fairway into the short stuff. I'm getting out of the gate. What do you think?
I like it because this is, I think, a symptom of getting burned by K9 rushing yards prop bets throughout the season. It's like, well, K9's awesome. Obviously, we want him to get the football, but so oftentimes the rushing yard bets are failing. So hey, let's shift those chips over to the receiving side, and 25 plus yards seems about right. And I just wish that our offense would design some receiving not just the dump offs, the check downs. Like, let's design some routes for K9.
That's a great call. Maybe we keep evolving a little bit. I saw some green shoots in the run game. The only person who catches screen passes is JSN, those little tunnel screens. They've been effective, so whatever. But maybe 1 or 2 times a game we could catch the Jets on a blitz, leak our guy out, and get a timely screen pass to Walker. Every other team seems to do it. Hopefully we can too. All right. I am representing Wilson. So on first down, here's where he's going. You talked about it, Brandon, that he's kind of been taking some of the more normal or straight up bets, less player prop.
It's been working for him.
And it's been working for the man. He won 4 weeks in a row prior to me stealing it last week. And he simply got Seattle minus a point at -108. Vegas pretty much thinks this is a 2-point game, 1.5-point game. They've got this thing super, super tight. They're expecting something like 21-20, something around there. That's where the over-under is kind of landing, 42, and the total points for the teams are around 22 each. Simply, Seattle wins this game by more than 1, right? And he's cashing. Look, I'm going to be there. I can't. I can't be watching the loss, Brandon. This has got to hit.
I just don't understand though why I feel like the money line and the points line are about the same. Why not just take the money line at this point?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe he was just feeling flirtatious. What was the money line? Is it like minus 120? Is that
Yeah,
basically where
something
it's
like
at?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess he
Don't even mess
figures.
around with the points.
Yeah, I guess he just figures if they're going to win, it be by more than one, right? Because if you know the rules, if it's 21-20, a Seahawks victory, that would bust this out. He would not win the bet. It would push and he would not win. Yeah, I don't know.
A
Maybe he
one
just
point
thinks
victory is very possible. So
it is.
by
It
just
is.
taking the points out of it, that seems like the way to go for me.
Well, I'd say one of us is at an Ivy League school and it's none of us. So all right, you're up on third down, my man. Take it away for Adam and show the world that you're being spicy.
All right, mine this week. Part of me, when Adam said, go ahead and take the reins for me this week, it got me thinking. I've been criticizing him all year. Well, not all year, since he started making the switch to taking really, really safe bets. His approach essentially has been, I want to lose $10 a week and no more than that.
Yeah.
And it's not worked out for him well. He's tremendously in the hole. He's losing to everybody. I am going to try and pull my buddy Adam Emmert out of the hole in 1 week. And so that's why I'm starting things off with a plus 310 bet. Plus 310 bet. And that is a first quarter margin of victory, 1 to 6 points. You look at how the Seahawks have started out on the road to this point in the season. They're not a fast starting team, but they'll generally get points in the first quarter. And so if they get a field goal, if they finish the first quarter up by 3 points, or say they get a touchdown and they give up a field goal to the Jets, then that hits on this too for a nice plus 310.
Yeah. Well, look, that's what friends are for, right? You are here to pick up your buddy who's been lacking this year, and he would admit as much as well. I don't hate it. It's ballsy, for a first down bet at plus 310. It's an inverted Wilson 300 on first down. But sometimes, you know what? Sometimes you got to throw the ball on first down. Sometimes you got to just go deep, hit DK over the middle for 20 something yards on first down and shake things up. And I feel that's what you're doing, Brandon. So bravo to you on that, which I like. What's Ryan got for us?
Just saying that I'm getting spicy. Here
Oh yeah, you are. You are getting very spicy, very, very hot out of the gate, and I'm here for it. All right, that brings us to Wilson's second down bet. So let me roll it over. Look, this one on screen here is DK anytime touchdown at plus 215. Now, I think DK only has 3 touchdowns on the year, right? So, we think of him as a touchdown monster. He has been for a lot of his career. He has been double digits twice in his career, 8, I think, a couple times, maybe 9 one year, 6 one year. I think he's only at 3 this year. I do feel that when you could get double your money for a DK anytime touchdown, I think it's pretty good value. And I think that's, if I didn't talk to Wilson, I think that's probably where he'd be looking at and saying, look, he could get sauce. He can get burn sauce deep and just, or get some of the targets in the red zone that he typically would have gotten and just maybe catch a 50-50 ball and a little fade or something like that. So I like it at plus 215, meaning you bet $10, you win 2150. Hey, look, if I'm sitting there cheersing Wilson with a DK touchdown anytime during the game, I'm going to be happy about it. How about you?
It's not that Geno Smith isn't trying to look DK's way, because he is. And he almost, if not for a Charles Cross whiff last week, he probably would have hit DK on a touchdown down the right side. And so, yeah, we need to get more DK touchdowns. I'm for this. I am pro DK scoring.
You are pro Geno to DK. All right. So you are up on second down for Adam, which is you. Take it away, buddy.
Yeah, this is in effect, I am passing on first down. I'm running on second down, but I'm still a little spicy with it at plus 210. This is total points scored in the game in that 41 to 50. And where I came with this is in our What If show, we talked about what our score predictions were. And I said, you know what? I actually believe the score prediction that I threw out there. And so why not put Adam's money down on it too, and go with the 41-50 score band on the total point score at the end. This one was very much similar to I could have picked 31-40 or 41-50. They were both plus 210, and also I said, well, I already predicted the score, so I got to stick with what I predicted.
There you go. You can't go. Yeah, you go with your gut. So you're doing that, which is nice. And again, Vegas has this game at 42.5. So from Vegas's eyes, it's right where they believe it will be as well. I don't think this hits. I think this game goes under. I predicted, I think it was 1916 or something like that on what if, or something like that, right?
Yeah.
I think it's going to end up below 40. I don't think either team's going to get to 20, and that'll come into play with one of my bets as well. However, look, it doesn't matter, man. We win this game 30-11, and you hit this, I'm dancing with you. I'll be super, super happy. I just don't. It's the NFL is weird, right? We think we see patterns. We think we see things we could recognize and be like, oh, that will absolutely happen again. We've played 3 great weeks of defense, or 1 good, 2 very good, 1 great week of defense. It will certainly happen again. And the Jets have been, hit and miss and floundering. And hey, the Cardinals held them to 6 points. It's the NFL. NFL is weird. You think one thing and the next thing happens. So I think the low times will continue, but I could be very, very wrong. So, all right, that takes me to a very similar bet, but I was just kind of hinting at it. But I've got the JETS for my second down bet under 17.5 points, and I get paid plus 150. I think, and again, Vegas thinks they score about 20. So that's why I'm getting a pretty handsome plus 150 there. I like this. I like the idea that this could be a 20-17 game, 21-17, whatever. 17 points versus what we've seen, our Seahawks play the last 2.5, 3 weeks of football. And this is not it's not as good as an offense as the last 3 offenses we've played. They're okay. Aaron Rodgers is still a Hall of Famer. Devontae Adams is a first bout Hall of Famer. Breece Hall, who is healthy, he's a nice player. Garrett Wilson's a nice player. They have an okay offensive line, but they've been very disjointed. Brandon, when we watch our Seahawks and we go, nothing seems easy, that's cool. We're right, but go watch the Jets. Nothing feels easy for the Jets. So I like this under, man. What do you think?
This fits right in with my last bet, so I can't really disagree with you at all, because as part of my prediction of that scoring band, I also had the Jets at not scoring very many points. You're just not as confident in our Seahawks to get the little bit of extra payout out of it as I was.
Yes, that is absolutely correct. But I like plus 150. That is a pretty, pretty spicy second down for me, the champion. All right. So that means you're up on the third down bet. Take it away, my man. Where are you taking us?
All right. This is just the nice thing to kick things off in the third down bet. And this is the Seahawks to score the first points of the game and for it to be a field goal. And again, I'm trying to get Adam back into plus territory. And they, like I said, on the road, not a whole lot of touchdowns in the first quarter, but they have scored field goals. And oftentimes they're getting on the board first on the road. And so that's why I was feeling this one.
I don't mind it. I like it. And plus 300 feels, it is healthy, right? So that's great. I like it for a few reasons. Number one, I could see the Jets deferring where we just get a chance first. And, our offense has been, we move the ball until we don't, right, which equals field goals. We get to the 40, we kind of stall out a little bit. And we end up with a long Myers try, and he's been good this year. I also can see an area where we win the toss, we defer, and we get the Jets off the field. We've been very good at this. In the last week, 2 sacks in the first drive, and Arizona's putting the ball back to us. So
this is also, I did take a look at the Jets and what they tend to do. If they're not facing one of their division rivals, they have been very slow to start. In fact, I think they don't tend to score any points in the first quarter against a non-division rival, at least when they're playing at home. And so it was that part of it too that was informing this decision.
I like that. I like informed decisions. And last I checked, we are not a rival or a division rival for that matter of the New Jersey Jets, as Marlon was calling them. Okay, cool. Well, hey, you 2 out of your 3 are plus 300 or longer, which leaves us the fail Mary, but we got other third down bets to get to. I'm up on my third down, so I'm going to take it away. I like when I could combine two things that I think are going to happen and that I get plus money. So what you'll see on screen, I'll lay it out for you, is Geno over 225 passing yards. Basically been doing that almost every single week. He's done that way more often than not. And then K9 at 40 plus rushing yards. And it's the only, and I got to get a plus 104 for that. The only part that makes me sad, Brandon, is that of the two, the K9 40 feels more risky to me. And I want to cry a little bit because of that. How about you?
That one, are you sure you couldn't have just picked 40 plus all-purpose yards? Because that to me would have felt a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah, I think with the all-purpose, then because Vegas is thinking he's got 24 and a half points through the air. So this would have been a big-time negative number. I could have taken it, but I wanted to stay positive with my points there. And, the Geno part.
40 plus shouldn't be something that you should have to cringe over.
It should not be. Like, he should still run the ball 15 or 17 times. And he's also still K9. He just one breakaway. Last week, He had the one that he gets the shoestring. Was still a nice run, but he gets the shoestring. He gets shoestring, tackled, and he was going to break that for like a 40 plus yarder right there. He has the explodability at every single turn. Now with LeMay is a powerhouse, man. LeMay is a strong dude. Hey, maybe LeMay and Lucas, and all of a sudden with Olu, that whole right-hand side's looking a lot different, more power football, better zone blocking, and away we go. We get our guy in space, and I'm smashing this. Brandon, I'm feeling hot, feeling good about this. All right. I do have Wilson right here as well. Wilson is going against the grain. He's going against the wind here at plus 218. He's calling for the end to the Geno interception streak, a streak we don't want. We would love to end. And also saying our Seahawks do not get a pick against Rodgers, right? Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean, I'm not even sure who the Jets backup is, but doesn't mean that Rodgers doesn't, pull a hammy on play number 2 and the other guy throws a bajillion pick sixes. That would still hit for old Wilson there. So no INTs basically for either team. I would love to believe this to be true, but the pattern has said this won't hit. What do you think?
I'm kind of with Ryan that how is this only plus 218? Because Geno has been on an interception throwing streak.
Yeah.
And even for a no interception game, it should probably be this even without Rodgers if I were to guess. But here it is with both these guys at 218. This is too risky for me. I wouldn't take it.
Gotcha. Well, I think Wilson was feeling a little, he texted me and said, careful, they're a little spicy this week. So he's feeling the heat as well, which after 4 weeks of winning and one not, he's like, hey, I need this to be true.
I picked spicy bets this week, and this one's too spicy for me.
Right. Exactly. I hear you, bud. I think when you said, hey, Geno alone would probably be most of this, you're probably right. Let's put it this way. Geno's probably doing the heavy lifting as far as this bet's concerned. I think Rodgers has 7 interceptions to Geno's 12. I believe that's the math, which is not quite double, but it's on its way. It's 40% or so more. And look, as a Seahawks fan, I hope this bet busts and one side of it busts and that Geno gets a clean sheet game because Lord knows we could use a clean sheet from Geno. But the thing with Geno, real quick aside, we have a few minutes. There's been a good amount of debate. This is a good little conversation. Do you feel that if you ask Geno to be more careful, because I feel like that's what you're asking him then, hey, be more careful. Well, then do you just lose the specialness of Geno on the run, finding DK over the middle between 3 guys? I mean, do you think that also goes away? And are you okay with that? Or no. Keep the risk on Geno and live with the interceptions.
I think Adam was onto something this week in the flagship show saying that, hey, Geno, when you're in the pocket, let it rip. When you get outside the pocket, maybe don't let it rip.
Well,
and then that would take away that 1 to DK. But
right.
I think that also takes away
2 to DK. He
but
had
I
two
think
like
that
that.
also takes away the pick. So
Yeah,
it's that trade-off that I think I'd be more willing to live with.
I would live with that explanation. I won't, but I would live with it if we had any under center game with play action where he actually has time in the pocket. All this stuff is off. It's screen game and off structure madness. And Gino's really good at it. Now, Lamea, Lucas week 3, Olu with another week. Maybe things look healthier. I mean, just meaning better, more pocket time. That's a very possible, I wouldn't say probable, that's a possible outcome of this next rotation with the offensive line. If that's the case, then I could see the more conservative let it rip when in the pocket, but there is no pocket. It's not like it's there very often. It's all out of structure. So I agree with it, but
It's
not
not all out of
yet.
structure. I think if you go back to last week,
So
it was a
much.
lot of dink and dunk stuff. It was a lot of drop back and take the first read if it's there. And yeah, if he had to dodge a guy, then yeah, there was a couple plays that he was out of structure. But I think for the most part last week it was just a lot of quick game stuff.
Yeah. Well, if you could dodge a wrench, you could dodge a ball. All right, let's take it over to the Fail Mary plus 1200 or longer odds. Of course, it's known as the Sunday rubber, the Sunday scratcher. Everybody calls it that. Look, it's only $1 bet. So we put it out there and we lay it up Wilson to Tate style for a perfectly crime-lit touchdown. It was a very, very legitimate touchdown. Of course, I'm back on the T-box. Brandon, I am going with something a little bizarre, a little wacky. Hey, it's a bust.
Jalen Sundell, anytime touchdown. Oh, no.
I wish. Every time that guy's on the field, I'm like, all right, I like him as a pulling extra fullback guy or just playing fullback and misdirection Sundell, right? MVC winning Jalen Sundell, but it's been on the screen long enough. I'm going with that the longest field goal are the exact same distance. So this means, let's say it's a 49-yarder for the Jets backup guy and a 49-yarder for Myers, and those are the longest field goals of the day. I'm at plus 1,700. Little bizarre, but it's going to be a very cold day, so I don't expect booming field goals of over 55, 57 to be the norm at 37 degrees at kickoff with a little bit of wind in a stadium that's kind of always been known to be tough on kickers anyway. So to me, that kind of compresses it down to a range of like, I don't know, 48, 49 made plus 1,700. I know it's a long shot, but it's a Fail Mary. That's what I got.
Yeah, this is one of those things that you're like, well, it could happen. It's
Yeah, it
like
could happen.
ending the first half in a tie, right? That's a lot of those props are in the plus 1,200 range, and yeah, it can happen. It just usually doesn't.
Yeah, that's why is what it is. All right, so we got Wilson's touchdown bet here. His Fail Mary, the Sunday rubber. He's got more Bobo. He's calling for more Bobo. First touchdown of the game, also at plus 1,700. The only thing I'll say about this, Brandon, and hand it to you real quick, is that, hey, the first drive of last game, I think Bobo had the first reception for our Seahawks last week.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a little bit, okay, Bobo will be out there in the first couple of, series. And maybe that's what Wilson was gravitating towards.
I could see it. It's one of those things that everybody's got their eyes on K9 down near the goal line, and then Bobo leaks out and he's the one unaccounted for, and they score a touchdown off of that. That's fine. Marlon's saying anytime should be 1,700.
Yeah, that's probably true, but it's it is first touchdown of the game. We could use a little magical Bobo. We haven't had the Bobo magic of 2023 really at all, right? Game 1 there was some Bobo, but he's kind of taking a back seat. So I'm all in for this. All right, you got Adam's third down, or Fail Mary, I should say. Where are you taking it?
Yeah, well, see, this is the other thing that Adam has been going with. These similar to you guys, the
Scratchers, yeah.
And why not parlay a bunch of things together that we think are likely to happen, because rather than one of these things that is relatively unlikely to happen. So I was predicting a Seahawks win, throw that in there, predicting it under 42.5. So I'll throw that in there. I like your Geno bet. Mine just has a little bit of pass and run yardage in there. What's not on the screen, because this has 5 legs within the parlay, so it is getting a little bit spicy.
Careful.
But K9 anytime touchdown, and Jason Myers 5 or more kicking points. So I need all those legs for it to hit the required plus 1200.
Okay, I missed when you when you put them in the sheet, I just missed the last two legs. And when I put these together, I was like, wow, plus 1200 for these three. I was like, this is a great bet. Good job. Okay, it has 5 legs, but I
Five
don't.
legs, but really those other 2 legs, I mean, K9
Yeah,
anytime touchdown, probably the most spicy between the two, because Myers 5+ kicking points, you know,
should happen. Should happen.
should
Yeah, field
happen.
goal and a couple touchdowns or 2 field goals, right?
Right.
So look, it's I like the concept. You're zagging when folks are zigging. We're going for ridiculous things. You're like, let me just compile a couple of things that really could and should happen. So, philosophically, I think you're right there. Look, I think you gave Adam a puncher's chance, which is pretty good considering the year that he's having. Now that you've seen all the bets, how are you feeling? Where do you think your podium placement will be this week?
I can't wait to see the crown atop Adam's head when you guys do your show next week.
I love it. And what I did was I put them all back together. I won't go and update the Fail Mary with the other stuff. Just know that there's 2 other legs there. But we've got the perfect union of Brandon and Adam on screen there from our picture from Boston in the sunshine. So Brandon, I will be there with Wilson representing the flock. We got at least, I think, 6 or 7 different folks now hanging out. We're all going to meet up. For folks that are watching this now or tomorrow, we're going to be in the gold parking lot. And then I'm going to be texting with Gary. We're going to head over to a little tailgate that he's got going. But, if you're in the Discord, I put my cell phone in there. I put a picture of the car in the Seahawks travel channel. I put a picture of the car I'll be driving, which you really can't miss. It's like a golden mustard yellow. My cell phone's in there. Give a holler.
Like Transformers Bumblebee, but not the Camaro, maybe a little more family practical.
Yeah, it's like a hatchbacky Chevy. It's called a Chevy Trax. I happen to love it. So, if you're going to be there, then come on, hang out. Brandon, why don't you hop on a plane, let's say right now, and paratroop in? What do you say?
I can make it if I leave right now.
Perfect. All right. Well, Brandon, I think with that,
there's only one thing left to say.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.